But then in that moment when I was in the bathroom holding Ariana, this is real. People are truly struggling to this degree that
Guys, if you do not know, today is actually World Mental Health Day, so we are doing a special video to sit down and talk about our struggles with mental health. So this video is sponsored by BetterHelp, which is an online counseling company where you can actually go on and get actually affordable counseling, which is awesome. So basically you go on the site, you can go ahead and fill out a questionnaire that will help pick out a counselor that best suits you. You can choose like if you want a male or a female, certain religious beliefs. We have one specifically for faith-based counseling if you want that, and then there's one for non-faith-based as well if that's what you'd prefer. And then BetterHelp will go ahead and team you up with a therapist, and even if you don't like that one, you can easily switch to somebody else and try someone new. So if you are struggling, and especially if you're on a tight budget, I want to encourage you to go ahead to the link below and check out one of the BetterHelp counselors to see if they can help you. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into it. We're not 100% sure what we're going to talk about, but we have a large experience in this in the mental health realm, not just with me. A couple of you guys have actually asked Ryan to open up about his anger management, depression, things like that he had before he even met me. So this video may just give you those answers finally.
Possibly. So I have mentioned in the past that I used to have like really bad anger issues. Something I haven't mentioned though, I don't think ever on the vlogs, is that I battled depression as well. This was before even I met Ariana, and it was, I mean, I don't know exact time lengths. I know there was like a 6-month time frame that I was going to see a counselor. That was pretty much right before we met and started, or before we started dating. But I mean, it was probably 3 or 4 years, I would say, that I was really struggling with depression. It was more worse towards the end, and that's when others started to notice. That's when my parents started to notice. That's when I started going to counseling, because I was pretty good at hiding it at home, I guess. So this video, I don't plan on going fully into detail of my story. A video will be done on that in the future. I've been telling myself and Ariana that I want to do that. It's just never actually put the pen to paper, sat down and filmed it. Pardon my voice, I'm not feeling the greatest. And it just sounds really funny to me. I think for me, most of my depression started just with my weight. I used to be overweight pretty significantly when I was in late elementary, middle school, and early high school. And so that really took a toll on me mentally. Just because going to school, kids making fun of me. I guess I could say I was bullied in school. There were also times that I was the bully at school. I can't really pinpoint like certain aspects that led me to my depression and to my anger, but that definitely played a big part in it. I mean, it got to the point where there was one day that I remember, I had texted my friends a few things, and she was going to a different school, but one of our other friends' moms was a nurse at this other school, and then she ended up texting or calling my school. April 20th, 2010 is the day we just determined. I was not allowed to go to school for fear of both mine and others' safety. So I mean, that time frame was, I think, really the height of my depression, and when I was the most angry. I was furious with that. I mean, and so before I could even, it wasn't just a day that I couldn't go to school, it was I couldn't go back to school until I went and saw a school certified therapist that basically gave me clearance to go back to school.
If you don't want to share this, I don't
no,
have to include it.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
You're not
really
that person anymore. So
yeah, I know. I don't know really where I was going in terms of that, but
you were just showing that is like the worst that it got.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I think that is first when my parents found out, because they got a call from the school. I don't think my parents were aware. They probably had their suspicions before that. I was really withdrawn at home. I really didn't talk to my parents, didn't have much of a relationship with my parents at that point. Like I said, that was leading up to the summer Arianna and I started dating. So I think for me, it was not only going to see the counselor, but then also that's when I got into the leadership group that you guys have heard us talk about so much throughout the vlogs. And so I can say that probably without seeing the counselor, and for sure without joining the leadership group, I wouldn't be the person I am today. Arianna and I definitely would not be married. And I don't even know where I would be. I would probably either be in jail or dead, honestly. Just based on my train of thought at that time in my life. So now that we're doing this video, there will be probably within the next few months a full in-depth my story, kind of going into more of what all that entailed and where that anger led in my life and that depression. But yeah, I don't want to do that all right now because this video is this is generalized between the both of us, not just me. But yeah, so there you go. You've heard a little bit about my story that has never been shared publicly. So like my personality is, I hide emotions. I don't let anybody see my emotions almost ever. Like even there's been times throughout our marriage where there's things going on inside of me personally that Arianna hasn't known about because I don't show my emotions much and I just don't talk about it. So I mean, that's something that even I've been working on more recently to help us get better on the same page. The thing about being online is everybody sees where they're at. All of the viewers, you guys see where you're at in your life and you know all the struggles you're going through. But then you go online and you watch these different vloggers, whether it's us or one of the many other thousands of vloggers out there, or people on Instagram, and you see these quote-unquote perfect people that you see all of the good stuff going on in their lives. But you don't always see what's going on behind the scenes. You don't always see the negative things that are happening in these people's lives that could literally be tearing them apart from the inside.
Not that we're being torn.
No, right.
No, we are not.
Right. No. We are actually.
No, we're like
we are probably
better,
closer than we've ever been in our marriage.
It's the closest we've ever been.
Don't look at these people's lives online that you watch and you love watching. Don't take it at the surface level, thinking, "Oh, their life is perfect," and look at my life. I'm in a horrible spot. You can get through it with the help of others.
So when we sat down to this video, as I said, we weren't really 100% sure what we were gonna do. And me especially, because as you guys know, especially on my personal channel, I talk a lot about my struggles and my story. So you guys, a lot of you already know, that I grew up with an alcoholic father. I was in an emotionally abusive relationship when I was a teenager. And so I was kind of like, well, what am I going to talk about? I didn't want to be redundant. But I realized that Ryan and I really haven't talked a lot about like us together experiencing like the brunt of my PTSD, because when we started dating, that was some of the worst I think that I had gone through outside of being hospitalized for attempting suicide, because it was right after that. But after that was when I was, I think, the worst with my bulimia. I was the worst with cutting. Why don't you share like a little bit of your perspective of it?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind that we actually talk about fairly often, anytime there's something emotional going on, is that I don't really cry. And the thing we always go back to is, well, it's because I cried all of my tears at the beginning of our relationship, and just seeing everything that was going on with Arianna, it took all my tears away. I don't have any more to shed. So that's kind of our inside joke as far as that goes. Because it was rough. I guess for me, I'd say I'm a pretty empathetic person. So I can kind of put myself in somebody else's shoes when they're going through a tough time. Though sometimes I have a hard time relating with it. I mean, like, hard time actually talking with those individuals, even though I can kind of understand the pain they're going through. So I guess for me, one of the more eye-opening experiences throughout our initial dating experience was when I was texting Ariana, and I don't remember how the conversation went. I was somewhere else, and I received a text from Ariana. Long story short, she had started cutting at that moment, and
this was unhealthy, just so you know.
Yes,
like me telling him.
And so I drove over to her house. I don't know, were either of your parents home?
I don't think so.
And so I walk into the bathroom, and Ariana's on her knees on the floor, and her arm is just soaked in blood. Like, pretty sure it was dripping off of her arm. It was so much. And I just broke down in tears and just held her. That was, like I said, that was eye-opening. I mean, I'd had experience in the past not cutting myself per se, because I never had struggles with that, but some of my other closest friends had struggles with it that I was unaware of, but after the fact had learned that it was going on and didn't really understand why. Like, to me, it didn't fully make sense. But then in that moment when I was in the bathroom holding Ariana with her bloody arm, it was like, this is real. People are truly struggling to this degree that they're cutting themselves just to feel something. But shortly thereafter, I believe, is when I started going with Ariana to her counseling. I think primarily because she just needed a ride. It was how it started.
And my therapist was like, "Oh, well, Ryan can come in."
Yeah, and so I was pretty much just sitting in the waiting room the first few times while
Yeah.
she was going in, and then I ended up. Her counselor invited me in.
A lot of people think that therapy is only for the people struggling, but therapy can be equally as beneficial for the person that is dealing with the struggler. And so it can be hard for someone that is living or has a close family member or a close friend that has these struggles, whether it's self-injury or just depression in general, or anxiety or PTSD. You can't fully understand until you're in those person's shoes. And obviously there are things in your head that you need to work out, and talking with somebody about it can definitely help put like a different perspective for you. Well, like I said, I don't want to be redundant because a lot of you guys have heard my story, and I still have more like specific videos on certain topics I want to do. But we really just wanted to more bring to light depression as well, and Ryan more experienced that than I did, since my depression really was just like directly related to PTSD things. And so I hope that you guys did enjoy kind of getting to know us a little bit more, getting to know our stories a little bit more.
So that's going to be it for this video. If you are looking for help, please check out the link in the description box below to BetterHelp. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and as always,
we will see your wonderful faces tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.